Hey everybody, I'm Z Garcia, and today I'm taking a look at Planet Defenders. Planet Defenders has just been recently re-released by Renegade Game Studios from a printing that came out before by Emperor S4, which I have right here. This is the original, this is the reworked version, and in it you are going to be recruiting these three Planet Defenders, these three robots, and using their help to go around different planets, activate different powers, and catch these derelict robots out there, bring them back in and collect victory points for that, all while upgrading what you can do throughout the game as well. So it's a fairly straightforward game. That sounds complicated, but it really is not. Let me show you how it works, how you manipulate what's going on in the game, and then we'll come on back after that and I'll tell you what I think of it. The objective of the game is to get the most victory points, and you're going to do that by doing three different things. You are going to capture these derelict robots, these malfunctioning robots. They have a number of victory points at the top. You are going to get bonus scoring from having different kinds of robots, and you are going to get victory points for having different kinds of technology cards, upgrade cards. That's how you get victory points. The way you play the game is as follows. There are three cards that begin face up with a random side up on the table somewhere, and on your turn you can take up to three different actions. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to pick one of these and put one of your batteries on that tile, activating that robot. So I'm going to activate the yellow robot. It tells me yellow robot 1. So that means I'm going to take the yellow robot and he's going to move one spot. All right, he can go orthogonally here, 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 or here. He cannot end up where there's another robot, but he can walk through it if it happened to be, say, 2 steps like over here. So that would be my first action. I'm going to do that. I'm going to activate that yellow robot, and I can move him once. He's going to go down here, and then I trigger the power on the tile. In that case, that tile there is going to give me 1 orange energy and 1 battery. So I have another battery, and these are my little batteries for activating the robots. Second thing I can do on my turn is I may activate another one of these tiles. So I could, now that I've done that, I could spend 2 batteries. It's 2 the second time. I could do it on the red, or I could do it on the yellow robot again. Let's say I'll do it on the red here. He moves 1 step. I'm going to move him here, for example. And then I could activate the power on the tile. In this case, it says give up any colored energy and get 5 batteries. So I could get another 5 batteries. I might not want to do that though. So instead what I'll do is I'm going to go up here to this one, which says give up any colored energy and 1 battery and get 1 of each of the 3 colors. Fine, I'll do that one. I'm going to give up orange and 1 battery, and I get orange, blue, and green. All right? And now that I'm done with that, I get a third but optional part of the turn. It involves 2 possible things, okay? I could capture a robot. If one of the robots I triggered this turn is adjacent to an edge, I could capture the robot from the top of the pile that is closest. And so, for example, if I had the right stuff, I could capture this robot because I activated red, or I could capture this robot because I activated the yellow defender there. I don't, so I'm not going to do that quite yet, but it's very simple. You would just cash in the required colors and get that many victory points, and then possibly get a little bonus when you do so. In this case, 1 of each color and 2 yellow energy. I guess I could do this. What is happening? I could do it. I'm going to do it. So, cashing in 1 of each and grabbing this robot. That is 2 energy I get right now, so I add those 2 energy to my pool, and I just put this somewhere face down in front of me, and I remember that I have it, okay? And so that's the first option. Also, this would be revealed for the upcoming player. The other option is, if I don't do that or don't want to, I can then instead buy one of these upgrade cards. There would always be 4 revealed, and they are going to do various things. They have a cost at the top, some sort of benefit below that. In this case, for example, I could pay 1 battery to buy this, and this says that whenever I trigger the red robot, I could choose to move it an extra step. Very nice, okay. This one says I pay 1 colored energy, whatever color I want. And every time that, at the end of my turn, if I have less than 3 batteries, or fewer than 3 batteries, I would get +1 battery at the end of my turn. This gives me a discount if I capture a robot from a matching tile. And this one lets me trade, basically use orange as green and vice versa. So I could grab one of those if I didn't grab a robot. It's one or the other, okay? So that would be the end of my turn. The last thing to do is clear off these tiles and flip them to the other side, changing what's available to everyone else. And then the next player would go. This is going to continue with us capturing these robots, getting some cool upgrade cards until 2 of these piles are gone, of the derelict robot piles. Then the game is over once we've all taken the same number of turns, and we add up our scores. Everyone is going to have one of these little boards in front of them to remind them that you can have a maximum of 5 energy, for one thing, from round to round, that is, and then the bonuses for having different things. As an example, if I have 5 different kinds of robots, and the kind is the little illustration, okay, then I'm going to get 3 victory points as well, as whatever their values are. So that's it. That's how you play the game. The different tiles do various different things, but for the most part, they are very straightforward, okay? I'll just very briefly tell you what they do. So there's a few that are the same. Get 1 green and a battery, 1 orange and a battery, 1 blue and a battery. That's the same. The center, which is always the center, is get 1 of any color and a battery. Also, from the center, you can capture any of these derelict robots. So there you go. Give up any 1, get 5 energy. Gambling lets you go there, roll the die, and you get what you get. In this case, any 1 color and a battery. Gambling's very powerful. This one you have already seen me put into effect. And then this one over here, when you go there, you will move this 1 step in the direction of the arrows and get whatever you landed on. But if you want to spend some more batteries, you could move farther and get more colored energy. So if I'm here and I spend 2 batteries, instead I'll move 1, 2, 3, and that's 1 of each color. So very nice. That's it. That's how you play the whole thing. Now, before I move on to some final thoughts about what I think of the game, I do happen to have here with me the original printing of this game from Emperor S4, so I'm going to give you just a real brief comparison between the 2 editions. This one from Renegade Game Studios and the Emperor S4 printing of the game. The reason this is going to be such a brief overview is because there's really not that many differences between the 2 printings. You have different components. They're slightly different, that is. So instead of having the complete cube here, you have this sort of, the same idea but cut in half, just a little flatter. Same thing for the batteries. This tile here, the Desert Casino, is slightly different because, well, this one has a regular die in it and the symbol is different, while this one has a digit from perhaps a different game from Renegade Game Studios. And then these tiles, this is a very minor thing, but I like how the Renegade Games one is printed so that you'll flip the card over, like so, which just makes a little more sense to me. These, as you're flipping them, unless you want the orientation to change, you need to flip them end over end, because if you do this, it's upside down, okay? So instead, you need to flip them end over end like that for them to make sense. Very minor thing, a little bit annoying, so I like the new printing. And then one final thing, which is sort of like the obvious difference between the 2, is the figures. In the new one, you've got these miniatures here, and in the original game, you've got cardboard standees, which are perfectly fine and functional, just not as splashy as the reprint here with the awesome upgraded plastic minis. So there you go. Those are basically the differences. Everything else is just about the same. So, having said all that and having shown you these 2 different versions, let's go back up top and let me tell you what I think about the game itself. Alright, so that is Planet Defenders, and before I get started, just in case you're wondering why I have the Emperor S4 printing of this game, it is because, spoiler alert, I like the game enough that I kept it, and I'll probably now end up upgrading to the Renegade Game Studios printing of the game. So, let's kick it off with my target audience system, starting with thematic ties. I like the theme in this game very much. I think it's cute, it's silly for the most part, it fits the gameplay well. Mostly, I do find that the gameplay has a lot of trade this color for that color and then trade this for that, and there's a little what we call cube pushing in the game that doesn't seem to be as silly as the theme would suggest in some ways, but I do like the theme a lot in this game. The aesthetics are also, for the most part, pretty good. Clearly, the robots and the new miniatures stand out from the pack, from the rest of what's going on, but the rest is fine. It's good. Card quality is fine. I like the way they look. Everything is clear. Iconography is solid. Tiles are perfectly functional, and then all of the cubes in their various colors also work just fine. For the most part, comparable to the first printing, except for the standees versus the nice, gorgeous plastic minis, okay? Replayability is pretty good. This gets a positive from me, too. It's not as impressive as some games. You will see all the robots in every game, well, most of them. You will, the upgrades, there's not that many that you'll discover a new one you've never seen, say, 4 games in. But it's a fun enough puzzle that you want to come back. You're going to want to keep coming back to it to see if you can solve that puzzle in a more effective way. It's a game where you are, in very tiny increments, gaining on your opponents. And so you want to make sure that you don't have a lot of turns which feel like you didn't get a whole lot accomplished, you know? It's that kind of game. I like the puzzly nature of it, right? But it's the replayability comes in where you try to get better at that. It makes me think a little bit of old school video games where you did a level and you just attempted to get a higher score in the same level as opposed to continuing to explore a more modern, bigger world, if that makes sense. The game length, I think, is pretty good. The game does not feel like it outstays its welcome. It goes hand in hand with the theme. And what you are doing in the game, which is, like I said, a lot of cube pushing, doesn't get to the point that you become tired of the activity of making these colored sets and then cashing them in for stuff. Once you're ready for the game to be over, in my opinion, it is over. And I like that as well. The ease of play. Good. That involves fiddliness. That involves if there's any weird design choices, anything like that. I think the ease of play is on point. The game is easy to play. The turn structure is very clear. The flipping over what robot is available. If you use it, you get the other side next turn. I like it. It's a good design choice. Everything is simple, and nothing here is necessarily revolutionary. So there's not a ton of originality in the game, but the ease of play and how everything works together, I think, is very well done. So I like that aspect of it very much. It's a game I can easily teach to just about everyone, and I think they're going to get into it and in just a few turns start to see the possibilities of that puzzle and how to tackle the same thing in multiple ways. I like it. And then lastly, tactics and strategy. I kind of talked about this, but yeah, I like the tactical reaction to where the other players left the robots and what you can do with that now, as well as the strategy of what to pursue long term. Do you go for a bunch of different upgrades? Do you go for a bunch of different robots? Just target the larger robots, the 5-pointers, if they're available, of course. You're going to end up doing you're going to end up doing basically all 3 of those things to varying degrees. But I like that you can adjust your plan and tactically react to what's going on, but also have something you want to do long term being, 35 minutes, and put that into play. So that's it. Overall, yeah, I like this game a lot. I think it's a neat game. I think the concept is cute. It's attractive. The gameplay is engaging, quick turns, very simple to understand, simple to implement, but not always easy to win. You will oftentimes find yourself unable to get what you want done in exactly the way you want to do it, and perhaps notice another player is starting to run away with it a little bit, but the game never feels punishing, and it's always engaging when it's your turn to figure out your 2 or 3 actions and how to do them to maximize each turn. I like that feeling in games a lot. So I like it. This one's going to get a seal of excellence from me. I recommend you check it out if you haven't seen it before when it came out the first time. Well, definitely get your hands on this new printing because I think the robots are gorgeous. Get those painted if you like painting. They're nice for that. And the game is simply pleasant and enjoyable. So there you go. Again, seal of excellence from me. Check this one out, Planet Defenders.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool Stuff in stock. Check them out at coolstuffinc.com.